Now, one of the most prominent question which I've been asked by all the students is that, sir, how to handle such questions? They're very unconventional in nature, which comes from the topics of sports, which comes from the topics of defense, sometimes in environment, how to handle them. So let me give you an answer for all of this, but at the end of this video. But first, let us try to understand what are these unconventional themes. We are going to go through a process of looking for questions in the years 2022, 23 and 24. Hi everyone, welcome to PW. I'm 𝐑𝐄𝐂𝐿𝐴V𝐻, and right now we are going through a series which is going to help you in your prelims preparation. Now, one of the most prominent question which I've been asked by all the students is that, sir, how to handle such questions? They are very unconventional in nature, which comes from the topics of sports, which comes from the topics of defense, sometimes in environment, how to handle them. So let me give you an answer for all of this, but at the end of this video. But first, let us try to understand what are these unconventional themes. We are going to go through a process of looking for questions in the years 2022, 23 and 24. First, we will begin with the themes of environment. So if you see this topic of environment, they are at times, yes, they feels very good. This is very good general knowledge. But do you remember about them, or have you ever even learned a little bit about them? Like, see this question: lions do not have a particular breeding season. Unlike most of other big cats, cheetahs do not roar. Unlike male lions, male leopards do not proclaim their territory by scent marking. Now, this is a question which is on the prominent cat family. And how many of the people are going to have a certain answer for this? We are not discussing about answers, right? That's all of you know about that, because we are not looking for the tricks which can work, right? So it's very, very important to understand that in such kind of questions, if you have a broader knowledge of cat family, if you are very good with flora, fauna in the environment topic, then you can think about attempting this question. Otherwise, in most of the cases, if you are not going to attempt this, that is also fine, right? Please, I will give you the process through which you can create an answer for these kinds of questions, but it's not going to be successful 10 out of 10. You should be happy with not attempting few questions. That's very, very important, right? Let us try to understand few questions just like this. This question came in 2022. Certain species of which of the following organisms are well known as cultivators of fungi? Which of the following are known as the cultivators of fungi? Why do they cultivate? They cultivate it for food. They cultivate because fungi also helps in what process? The process of decomposition. So please try to understand ant, cockroach, crab or spider. The answer is ant, right? But do you have this general knowledge? UPSC has repeatedly asked question about fungi. Just see the previous year question. They've asked about the process which is known as the symbiotic relationship. How are fungi formed? You need to have this. This is the question which is doable in the examination hall on the basis of, again, the trick which I told you in the previous lecture, that if you follow the keywords of environment topics, history and of science and technology, you're bound to gain a lot of understanding of those topics, and they're going to be useful in your examination. This topic is still which is well within your range, but this one, if you are addicted to the animal documentaries, and if you're somebody who is a cousin of Bear Grylls, then probably you can do this, right? Or if some very good faculty has taught you these kinds of things in the classes, even if just for the sake of laughs, then you can solve this question. But just on the face of it, it's not easy, right? So please try to differentiate between, yes, questions belongs to flora, fauna, but some questions are more doable than the others. And for that, again, you have to take the help of previous year questions. Again, please see this. To reduce the chance of being captured by predators, which of the above roll up and protect their vulnerable parts? You must have seen these things in the cartoon. You must have seen these things, right? Hedgehog, marmot or pangolin. Again, these are the kind of questions which are not easy to do in the examination hall. For such kind of questions, you should not have obsession that next time I'm going to do it, because they are not related to any previous year question as such, right? And more importantly, even if they will add one more animal, you will get completely bamboozled. You will not be aware about that. In such kind of questions, it is my humble request, do not be like very, very fearful because of such kind of questions. These questions will come. but it's okay to let them go. 1 or 2 questions will not affect your examination chances. Okay, let us see further. So this is the approach which you can follow for these animal behavior relation questions. What you can do, number one, like see, if you see the example of the first question, right? In the first question, do not just think it just for the sake of lions. See, when you are doing any kind of study, do it for the whole family, like cat family. What are the distinctive features of this cat family? Which are the important animals of this cat family? If you go like this, you can think logically and you can learn the context. But if you're just reading about one animal, like suppose only for lion, it's not possible to come out with an answer. Previously, what UPSC used to do, they used to ask question like I remember 2016, they asked about Kharai camel. This Kharai camel, which is in the region of Gujarat, it knows how to swim. So effectively, that was in the current affairs, and they asked directly. So if an animal is in the current affairs, and then do this exercise also, not just don't read just about that animal, read for that family, because recently UPSC is not asking question just about one animal, they're targeting the whole family, right? They're not just asking for one member of the family, the whole family, just like that in the gangs of Wasseypur, right? And everyone in the family is going to be targeted. This is what is happening in the examination hall. You have to go for the family. If those animals which are in the news, try to cover them. Don't get obsessed. This is never ending syllabus. Nobody wants you to, or nobody is going to make you part of the episode of Beer Grylls just because you know some information. Let me be very clear. This is an examination. We have to clear the examination by scoring more than 50% marks. If you score more than 100 marks, you are done. Your work is done. You have to focus on the mains. This is not an exercise where you'll get maximum marks in the prelims, because the marks of prelims do not even add up in the final total. Right? You're like, even if I scored 140, did I get those extra 25 marks? Were they counted in the mains? No, they were not counted. You can have a personal achievement, but does it matter to the examination? No, it does not matter. Clearing the prelims is more important. So please do not waste your time over this. If conceptual clarity is still lacking in polity, economy, geography, which is a doable part, do not feel like these kinds of videos. I have seen multiple videos. You could have done this, you could have done that. You could have done multiple things, but the past is the past. You have to focus on today. Can there be a foolproof strategy for these kinds of questions? No, it cannot be. Just focus on the current affairs. Whichever animals are in the news, focus on their families. Those questions which are part of the previous questions, read like one animal which often comes, right, in the UPSC examination. So you must have read about some of those animals, right, which come like lion-tailed macaw. UPSC has asked question multiple times. So I used to learn about lion-tailed macaw. What are the characteristics? Is it vulnerable? The status, okay, as per the IUCN list. You can remember about that also. So those animals which are there in the previous year questions, at least do that. Those which are in the current affairs, read about their families. That's it. That's the end of the discussion. Don't go beyond that, because it's a waste of time, right? So think in broader categories and don't go beyond it. Very, very important. Learn to limit. Administration, you have limited time. You have to set priorities. As I've been telling you from the beginning, this is not just an examination. This is also a test of your character. It's a test of what you give importance to, right? This is an examination. Focus on those areas which can clear it for you. Next is these kinds of questions, fact-based questions. Like suppose last year, I think last year itself, yes, 24, they asked this question. So the following have been constructed as greenfield projects. Now, when you will search it on the internet, you will feel like this is such an easy question. But generally, such kinds of facts are not memorized by the students. You know the meaning of what is greenfield, means brand new. Brownfield means where some kind of upgradation has been done. So greenfield and brownfield, that you can know. But what about this Doni Polo Airport, right? After Googling, you will know about it. Like it is in the Arunachal Pradesh. Kushinagar, you know all of you about that. Kushinagar place is very famous with the life of Buddha also, and it is from Uttar Pradesh, Vijayawada International Airport. So effectively, you may or may not know this. But you may know that what's the meaning of greenfield project. So sometimes you may not know such facts. So if they were in the current affairs, if you would have done them, it's fine. If you have not, leave the question. Don't worry about such question, because if everybody does not know the answer, then it's a competition. All of us are together. We're going to fail together. We're going to rise together. That's the situation. I used to have this mindset that if I do not know this information and I've gone through these these one or two magazines of the reputed institution and have read this newspaper very carefully for 1 year, then there are not a very high chance that others would know about it. If some know, it's good for them. Maximum would not know about it. This is a competitive examination, mind it. This is not an examination where the cutoff is going to be 180. The cutoff is sometimes even not 80, 75, right? As we've discussed. So please, such question, either you know, either you do not know. So at least focus on the concepts at least. And on the top of it, if you can do some logical guessing, okay, that yes, many schemes have come in the past, like Udan scheme has come. Under the Udan scheme, many airports have been given that kind of final infrastructure boost so that they can become economical for all the people to travel. So if you have that kind of facts with you, then it's fine. Still, I would say, even if you leave few questions, it is okay. It is fine. Out of 100 questions, I used to attempt only in the category of around 85. So if you leave few 10, 15 questions, it is fine. It doesn't matter. Still, I was able to score 130 plus multiple times. You can still do it. Please remember this. Now there are two areas. One is sports, second is defense. Okay. In sports, they've asked a question which is completely linked to chess Olympiad. Once they ask question with respect to the most important sports of India, cricket. And many of the cricket lovers, they could not do this question. So if you're not a follower of cricket, how much can you expect from yourself? Like, see this fact, the finalists were decided by the number of matches they won in the Test Championship. The New Zealand was ranked ahead of England because it won more matches than England. Now, if you know the facts specifically, attempt this question, otherwise leave it, right? Similarly for chess. Now, chess has taken off in India, right? And you must have seen that multiple people from India, they are among the top 15 players in the chess category. So if you see this whole sport, right, for the first time the Olympiad was conducted, what was its mascot? The trophy of the winning team in the open section is Veera Menchik Cup. The trophy of the winning team in the women's section is known as Hamilton Russell Cup. You should have information and they have not made it easy for you. Only 1, 2, 3 and 4. The subject matter is itself difficult for me because majority of us, we do not follow chess, and to make it even more difficult, the options are also not that easy. In such kind of questions, what you can do? You can read selectively few important tournaments which have happened in 4-5 sports. Like cricket, they have asked question, chess they've asked. Next time they can ask football. Next time, if some important event like support Olympics has happened, they can ask some medal tally, etc. We do not know. Such kind of question used to not come in UPSC, but they have been coming. Like they asked in 2021, right, or 2022, 2023. Those are 2 years they've asked question. That's the kind of idea I'm giving you. Just follow some 4-5 important and the tournaments that have happened. Rest, leave it. Don't go beyond it. These are the areas you can never catch them. You can never catch them. Like in defense, still they can ask some logical questions. But in sports, they can ask any random question. Who has won tennis? Who has won this? Those are the kind of facts which everybody cannot memorize. Everybody does not follow them. Majority of the people from the middle class, they only follow cricket. Like I also at a certain point in my life was only following cricket. How many of them are fifth generation? Now you should have this concept. What's the meaning of fifth generation and how many of them are fifth generation? This is what you could have learned in the classes, right? in the defense technology. So please, you can please focus a little bit on defense technologies. Still, they've been asking questions on this, like on questions are coming on missiles, questions are coming on aircraft. Defense part of the technology, which is a part of science and technology, can be covered in the classes. This is one area where you can do this question. Now again, very difficult, because if you are not somebody who prepared for CDS or CAPF and you are not aware about the various grades, various posts which are there in the Army, Air Force and Navy, it's next to impossible to solve this question. Now you will find the exact table in India yearbook, but could you would have remembered this? I find it very less chances. So in such kind of question, I would say, well, yes, it's very important. It's good if you know. But for this examination specifically, just for the sake of examination, if you do not know, it's fine, because 99.99% of the people would not know about this. All of them. One, it could be a coincidence. It could be like somebody in someone's family, somebody is on a very influential post and they know about it. But majority of the people who are preparing for civil services specifically, they would not know about it, because these are the kind of things. Even in my times, the questions never came. We never read about it. So if this kind of question comes, this is a competition exam. Majority of the people would not know. I'm on the safer side. I should focus on concepts. I should focus on those kinds of questions which I need to solve, which are of new categories. If this is given less priority, still you can score more than 100, 120 also. TDS. Now, this is a question where I would say that yes, this could be solved. TDS, lots of time you would read about this in the mains and some specific characteristics of why this institution was created. This was created on the basis of the reports of the Kargil committee. Many of them had done it, right? That's why what is required at this point of time is that these are the kind of questions which are relatively more doable. So these are not random facts. They've asked about the office, and they've asked about that the CDS is going to become the permanent chairman of Chief of Staff's committee, exercise military command. Now, in general, they are not given the military command, right? Because military command are still in the heads of those who are the leaders of the individual force. Principal military advisor to defense minister. So this question came in 24. In 20 also the question was there on the CDS. He's the head of all three armed forces, permanent chairman, and acts as the principal military advisor to this. So you have to have this basic information. So in defense, I would still give you an advice. Technology you can do, right? Missiles technology, aircraft technology. These are some of the ones where the questions can come, right? Even tanks technology, which are the specific kinds of tanks which are there, right? Because UPSC is asking you. India is now becoming a major player in defense exports. Our country is changing, so we have to become aware about it. As a civil servant, tomorrow if somebody asks you some questions about your country, about the defense, at least you should have some information. So it's good that UPSC is now including this, but the conceptual part, technology part, you can do. Ranks, etc. I would still say even if you leave, it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. These are the kind of questions which are with respect to what are the specific operations undertaken by army towards upliftment of the local population. Such kind of operations have been in news in the areas of Kashmir, in the areas of other parts of India. So you can have a little bit of information about these operations, right? That can be done, like Operation Rahat. It was asked in 2016, very long ago. All of you know that Indian armed forces have been utilized for the evacuation of people from the outside, because our whole neighborhood towards the west and towards the east, it is filled up with military conflicts, specifically towards the west. So lots of time these operations are being done. So please try to remember this, that such kind. So UPSC is focusing on operations. So that is one area you can make a list and you can remember. But again, this is like random information, right? Topic like defense, sports, they're unpredictable, but you can just focus on those areas which are doable. Which are undoable, you cannot run after that. Do not become obsessive with these kinds of things. So in unconventional things, number of questions will be very less. If you can focus on those parts which are doable by focusing on the theme, good enough. For the rest, there's only one strategy: leave. Because the number of questions will not be very on the very higher side. That is the most important thing. As an aspirant, you should focus on the main subjects: polity, economy, geography. If you do along with mapping very sincerely, more than 50 questions are going to come from there. Science and technology, right? International relations, again, history, the elements of environment which are easily doable, the legislative part of the environment, the part of climate change, pollution, which is relatively on the easier side. That is the area from where maximum number of questions are going to come. This unpredictable area, these unconventional questions, they're going to be from few subjects, but those areas which you can do, focus on them. Which you cannot, strategically leave them, right? Strategically leave them. It's very, very important. That's why the focus should be on balanced strategy. You should not get obsessed that I will do everything random which is there. It is not going to work. 1 year they will ask 3 questions from defense, next year 0 question. Like you can see it for yourself. They know how to play with your heart and with your mind. Just by looking at the past, you cannot predict the future. That's very important to know. So in some previous year questions may be futile also, because they were asked once and they were shut up just after that. They were never asked again. So this is my humble opinion to all of you. Make sure that you follow a strategy which is balanced in nature. Do not go for unbalanced, because unbalanced doesn't work. Like if you're venturing out to areas you feel it may be asked this year, etc., etc., you can do it, but a little bit. How much percentage of your time should be invested there? hardly 5%, not more than that, because the rest of the papers are also waiting. That please give us some preference areas which I've studied, become more efficient there. Efficiency is even more important in this examination, so please focus on all of this. All right, focus on those areas where you can do pretty well. Do not waste your time in those areas from where sometimes question comes. Every time it does not. It is my humble request to all of you. Please make sure that the strategy is able to have these tick marks that yes, I am preparing for the unconventional questions, but only to the sense where it is doable. I'm not going after those things which are not going to happen, right? Please make sure that you follow this. All the very best, and I will be continuing with this series. I'll be making you understand multiple things. And if you're able to do these things for prelims, let me make it very sure that this worked for me and this will work for you. This has worked for multiple people in the past, and you can utilize these strategies to get the maximum marks. And this clarity of mind is very much required, because on the day of your exam, you have to be that certain that okay, whatever I've done is sufficient. Because even if I do not know about the subject matter of the few questions, it's fine, because out of 100 questions, nobody will know about 100. Very few people will be there who will know for certain for more than 50-55 questions. To understand the difficulty of this examination, focus on those areas from where you can easily do, like the low hanging fruits, and those from where you can improve the number of your marks. Little bit of this, but not more than a percentage of your time, 5 to 10%, not more than that. Rest, the main focus would be on your static part, on that part of the current affairs from where question comes on a very consistent basis, like suppose science and technology, international relation, economy. From there, you should give the maximum focus. Rest, little bit, okay? And that's where luck also matters a little bit, but that's what you need to do. All the very best. Thank you so much.